So I get asked this question absolutely all the time, and it's basically, Tommy, how do I buy a house if I'm broke? And what I've realized is that when it comes to buying a home, you could be broke and you can still buy a home, and it's kind of weird. But I've learned also that you have three different types of broke. You have broke. Those are people that are basically living paycheck to paycheck, but they're also having to spend extra money and they're going into debt while they do it to basically sustain a lifestyle. Then you have broke. People that are just basically living paycheck to paycheck, but they could make adjustments to change everything around and to make their lifestyle a little better. Then you have people that are just fake broke. These are the people that say they don't have any money, but in reality, they have money, but they're just pretty cheap. So this video is not for you if you're fake broke. It's for the people that are broke, or just broke, okay? And the overall idea is this, guys, all right? Before we get started, like this video, subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified, because I have more content like this coming along, and also videos on investing and making passive income. And guess what? If you don't make enough money, figuring out a way to make money online is super important. And guess what? I have videos on that too. We're just getting another job that makes you even more money. And I also have ideas like that also on this channel. But overall, the very first thing, guys, is this. Maybe just don't buy a home. And this idea is super controversial, but it's very true. I don't know what it is that they put, for example, in the chicken, but overall, everyone is so obsessed with buying a home, including me, before I had a home. Like, my goal was, I wanna own a home. And I don't know where that feeling came from, but I just wanna own a home. Like, I just wanted it so bad. But in reality, the thing is, I thought initially that owning a home was gonna be an investment. But in reality, it's not an investment. And the math is very clear on that, okay? So the clear definition on an investment is when you put your money into something that preserves your capital, meaning the money is not gonna be lost. And on top of that, that money earns you something that's appropriate, meaning you're actually gonna make a profit on that money. When you think about a home is always gonna have three things: taxes, insurance, and also maintenance. Now, unless you don't wanna pay insurance, that's different, but you always have to pay taxes and you also have to pay maintenance. And if you don't pay the maintenance or the insurance, you're in trouble, because eventually this thing is gonna deteriorate and you're basically just gonna lose your investment either way. But even if you cover the taxes, you do the maintenance, you pay the insurance, guess what happens? With the passing of time and you incurring all these expenses over time, once you're done paying off this home, either 15 years later or 30 years later, what eventually happens is you just break even. So in reality, most people just break even. You might make a little bit more money, or you might get lucky, make a lot of money, depending on where you buy, and if it's like a hot area 30 years from now. But that's like luck, right, in a sense. But for the most part, the average person that buys a home, what ends up happening is they just break even. So if a home is not an investment, what exactly is it? A home is an asset that provides for you preservation of capital most of the time, but it also provides something even more important, which is basically security. Because once you own a home, not buy a home, own a home, your cost of living goes down immensely relative to what you'd be paying in rent. And that helps you out a lot when it comes to retirement and just having more security in life, because you don't have to worry about having so many bills anymore. So a home provides security, but a home is not an investment. If that makes sense, comment down below if that makes sense, because I'm down to make a whole video on this, okay? So if you're telling me a home is not an investment, Tommy, what exactly should I be doing or planning to do? The answer is, it's okay to pay for a service. Like when you pay Netflix, you're not thinking about, I need to own this movie. You just pay for the service and you watch the movie and you're out, right? So it's okay to rent. I used to be told all the time that renting is a waste of money. You're throwing money in the garbage, you're putting it into your landlord's pocket, but the landlord also has, for example, liabilities and expenses and a bunch of things to worry about with this property. I just live there, something breaks, I don't gotta fix it, they gotta fix it, okay? So overall, when you're broke, or you're just broke, the answer is it's okay to grab your extra money and invest it in yourself to basically increase your earning potential, or for example, put yourself in a better position so when you do buy a home, it actually makes financial sense for you, because at the end of the day, buying a home is to provide you security, not really an investment. So in the meantime, the best thing you can do is just rent. It's okay to rent. When I first went to Puerto Rico, for example, I rented for about a year before I bought the home, because I wanted to make sure, I wanted to see where I wanted to buy the home. I wanted to save enough money to actually buy this home and not be worried about it. So all these things are very important factors. And in reality, I gotta be real with you guys, okay? In some places, the math is never gonna make sense for you to actually own a home. For example, when I lived in New York, I did the math, and the math said, for example, hey Tommy, owning a home is going to be more expensive than renting for the next 20 years. So it made absolutely no sense for me to go ahead and buy this asset whatsoever, because I could just rent and save money for the next 20 years, invest the difference, and make even more money. So that's the idea. So sometimes clearly owning a home doesn't make any sense. But while you're there, you shouldn't just basically be just spending money like a wild person. No, like save your money, invest your money, multiply your money. So when the time comes, you're able to basically either buy a home in cash or put down a good size down payment on this home. That's the cool thing. But don't be afraid of just, for example, renting for a while. And I would do that if I need to build up my value to be able to earn more money and so on, okay? So yeah, but the best investment is gonna come from you trying to improve your money management skills when you're broke, and when you're broke. And then second is gonna come from you increasing your income producing capacity, and then it's gonna be a lot easier to actually buy a home when you actually need a home, okay? So my third point is this, guys. So Tommy, when would it be advisable for me to buy a home? The answer is I'm not gonna spend that much time on this point, because once I give you the answer, it's going to be kind of like just evident, okay? The answer is you buy a home when you need a home. The only reason I bought a home was because basically I'm planning on starting a family. I can basically afford to buy a home, and on top of that, owning a home where I live is gonna be cheaper than renting for the next 5 years or so. So it basically means that I'm gonna be there for the next 5 years. It makes sense for me to just own a home, build up some extra value in there, and just basically sell the home when I'm done, and it just makes financial sense. So in my case, it makes sense, but the overall idea is as simple as you buy a home when you need a home. But in reality, a home can just be a liability for you if you don't need it at the moment, because it takes a lot of money from you, and the maintenance and the insurance and the taxes. So when you actually need the home, when you actually are financially fit to do it, you can buy it, and at that point, the home is gonna be a blessing, not a burden. I know people that they bought a home way too early because they thought about, well, the earlier I buy it, the earlier I'm done paying it off. No, it's like the more you struggle throughout life just to pay off this thing, okay? So you don't wanna do that per se. Just because you can buy something doesn't mean you should buy something, because remember, the interest of the bank is in them making money. It's not in you being able to afford the asset that you're actually buying. It's tricky, but it's true. But here's a very simple formula to figure out exactly if you're actually able to afford a home or what to actually look for. I call it the 33% rule. And what it basically means is if you make, for example, $1,000 a month, the idea is owning a home or the mortgage on a 15-year mortgage, it shouldn't cost you more than 33% of your monthly income. And what this basically means that if you have an income and only a third is reserved for paying down this home and you get it on a 15-year mortgage, the idea is you should have some extra money to put towards it to basically finish paying it off faster. And before you buy a home, you should, for example, be debt-free. You should have an emergency fund fully funded. You should be able to start investing like a fixed amount of money, like 10 or 20% of your income. So this way, while you're paying down this asset that is gonna provide security for you, you're also building up your investment portfolio, and that's gonna make you more and more money. So whenever you're trying to own a home, you should also be investing at the same time, but it's a lot more different. But you shouldn't be trying to pay off debt while you own a home, and then you're also trying to invest, because in reality, it usually means you're basically spreading yourself way too thin. And the last part of this video, guys, that I will say is this. When you say these numbers, it might not make sense if you live, for example, in LA, in New York, but it makes sense somewhere. Okay, so the idea is if these numbers don't make sense, like a third of my monthly income, Tommy, on a 15-year mortgage when the average home is like $600,000, the answer is if the math doesn't give you what you want, it might mean you got to take a little longer to save up the money, or it just might mean you might just have to move, and that's fine. So don't be afraid to move. You know, like at the end of the day, America was built by immigrants in a sense, so I don't know why people are so obsessed with certain states or whatever, but overall, it's okay to move and basically own a home and have a better lifestyle if it makes financial sense for you. So my point is, if everything that's available to you are things you can't afford, is not an excuse to actually go ahead and basically well, I won't say that, and basically just get yourself into trouble. All right, so that's what I mean. So overall, if you're broke and you're broke, for example, the idea is you probably shouldn't own a home right now. That's fine, okay? It's not a big deal. You could just rent, build yourself up, and then when you buy a home, you buy it the right way. And if you can't afford a home in your area, it's okay to move and go somewhere else and just get a better lifestyle. That's basically what I'm saying with this video. I hope it makes sense, and I hope it's not too controversial, but it is a fact, okay? As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. Comment down below house, so I know you made it actually comment down below rent, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Up here is my face, or another video. Here's my face, I think. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. And on top of that, follow me on Instagram at TommyBryson. And as always, long-term team officially out.